आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज हम पढ़ रहे हैं पॉलिटी में सबसे पहले हम देख लेते हैं द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में सब कुछ आएगा, इसके अंदर सब कुछ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंडर ही है। तो एज द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज ए सिस्टमेटिक आउटग्रोथ ऑफ द फॉलोइंग फैक्टर्स। फैक्टर नंबर 1, India's subjection to colonial rule and struggle for independence. Second, the ideological and intellectual inputs provided by stalwarts like Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar, Rajendra Prasad, and others. Third, socio-economic milieu of Indian society. Fourth, liberal democratic ideas of representative government, adult franchise, elected institutions, etc., which was more pragmatic and commensurate with Indian ethos. These are four factors of a constitution which is a systematic outgrowth. Okay, first is India's subjection to colonial rule and struggle for independence. Second, the ideological and intellectual inputs provided by stalwarts like Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar, and Rajendra Prasad, and others. Third, socio-economic milieu of Indian society. Fourth, liberal democratic ideas of representative government, adult franchise, elected institutions, etc., which was more pragmatic and commensurate with Indian ethos. Apart from the above cited factors, many factors have contributed to affect the constitutional provisions, and it would be far from truth to accept that Indian constitution is still in the process of evolution. It means apart from these factors, there is a need to amend and evaluate the constitution of India. Next point about the constitution is sources of constitutional provisions, such as Great Britain. Great Britain gives us Great Britain parliamentary form of government, process of lawmaking, institution of speaker, writ jurisdiction. And the next, America, federal structure, supremacy of the constitution, independent judiciary, judicial review, impeachment process of ratification of constitutional amendments by the state legislatures. And America is also given us fundamental rights. Next, Ireland, directive principles, method of the election of president, nomination of members in the Rajya Sabha. These. And next, Canada, definition of Indian Federation as an union of state and giving residuary power to the union. Next, Japan, Article 21, procedure established by law. And Australia, concurrent list, Article 245 to I think 258, confirm it. And next, Germany gives us emergency provisions. Next, USSR gives fundamental duties. And next, South Africa, constitutional amendments. Next point about the constitution is basic features of the constitution. As we know all about that, basic features of the constitution. The constitution of a country is a legal document with the help of which a country's affairs are managed. Okay, it means the constitution of a country is a not nothing, it is a legal document, and with that document we manage the affairs of the country. It is a combination of many factors. It means the legal documents are made with the help of many factors, and it is a combination of many factors such as history, values, traditions, ethos, socio political milieu, and alike. It is a document which establishes the doctrine of limited government and promotes democratic rule. The Indian Constitution, drafted and enacted after a period of struggle and deliberation, is among the longest in the world. Though most of it is taken from the Government of India Act 1935, the Indian framers gave it a twist so as to be an instrument of socio-economic justice without compromising the effect of security, good governance, and other aspects is also. Now we are moving towards the following basic features of Indian Constitution. In the series and the list of basic features of the Indian Constitution, first one is one of the longest document in the world. Originally it is contained 395 articles and 8 schedules, but now it contains 444 articles and 12 schedules. It is due to done by amendments in the constitution. Okay, first point is completed. Second, Indian Constitution is a written document. Okay, Indian Constitution is a written constitution like American, Canadian, and French Constitution. And the third point is India has a federal system with unitary bias, the desire and commitment to preserve the unity without compromising the issue of development of different regions made this choice inevitable. It means the third point is India has a federal system which preserve the unity without compromising the issue of development. It means development is continued towards the path, and without compromising it, unity should be maintained. Fourth basic feature of constitution is independent and impartial judiciary is hallmark of Indian constitution. Indian constitution always independent, impartial judiciary. And the fifth and the novelest feature, it means the novel feature like fundamental rights, fundamental duties, and directive principles of state policy is a single document, is all of single document. Okay, fundamental rights, fundamental duties, directive principles of a state policy is a single document, is a fifth feature of the Constitution of India. Now continue it, and the sixth feature of the Constitution of India is parliamentary system of government. The government is in the parliamentary system. And seventh feature of the Constitution, compromise between parliamentary supremacy and judicial review. Eighth point, a democratic republic head of state is elected indirectly. He or she is not hereditary. And the ninth feature is a mix of rigid and flexible elements. The constitution amendment procedure has moderate enough to address the needs of change, but is also strict in the sense that crucial provisions need special majority. It means the amendment of anything in the constitution should be a special majority. And the 10th point and 10th and last feature of the constitution, there is so many features, but we are discussed only 10 features in this video. It means 10th feature of the constitution, citizenship is single. Everybody fulfilling certain qualification is entitled for citizenship of the country, not of a particular state. It means in the whole country there is a single citizenship, and everybody in the different states of the country should be fulfilling certain qualification which entitled for citizenship of the country, not a particular state. Such as, we do not say that citizenship and the rule of the citizenship of India is different as compared to the Uttar Pradesh. There is a common fulfillment qualification of the citizenship in whole country, which doesn't matter about the state. Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, and many more states are there, and everyone should fulfill the qualification of the citizenship as point of view of the country. Next, fundamental rights. We are going towards the fundamental rights of the constitution. These rights for us, for the citizen of the country. And for the fundamental rights of in India, there is a certain things for the country, such as for the persons, for the individual, for the citizen of the country. Okay. The Constitution of India is committed to a fundamental change in the social order so as to ensure more human life of people. Fundamental rights are classified as, such as we know very well about that, is the first fundamental right is the right to education, second right to freedom, and third right against exploitation, fourth right to freedom of religion, fifth cultural and educational rights, and sixth right to constitutional remedies. The original constitution provided for the right to property, but it has been abolished. Which right to property? By the 44th Amendment. It means the 44th Amendment is abolish the right to property in the constitution, in the fundamental rights. Okay. Recently, right to primary education has been included in part 3 under article 21A. Right to primary education. There is a need for a future. There is a new need for a present. Right to primary education, which will be included in the part 3 under article 21A. Now discuss one by one all the articles, such as right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. First one is right to equality. Right to equality. Article 14 to 18 deals with the right to equality. From article 14 to 18. Okay. Article 14 to 18 discuss and concern about the right to equality. Article 14 says that the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Again, the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Okay, now understand it. Equality before law. What is mean by equality before law? It is an expression of English common law and is somewhat negative concept implying absence of special privilege on grounds of birth, caste, creed, color or sex. Equality before law is second corollary from Dicey's concept of the rule of law. It implies that no one is above the law of the land. No one. It implies that no one is above the law of land. It is a law, no one is supreme. No one is supreme. However, exceptions are granted to the office of president and governor, but and other things, no one is supreme. Next, equal protection of the law, which says Article 14, equal protection of the law. It is of American origin and is more positive concept implying equality of treatment in equal circumstances. Equal protection of the law, it is of American origin and is more positive concept, equal protection of the law, equality of treatment in equal circumstances. It provides for protective discrimination. It means Constitution provides protective discrimination, protection from discrimination. Okay, first is completed. Right to equality. Next, in the fundamental rights, there is a right to freedom in which the Article 19 to 22 discuss about right to freedom. Article 19 to 22 deals with the right to freedom, such as Article 19 clause 1 include 6 freedoms of the citizen. First is freedom of speech and expression. Freedom of speech and expression. And second, freedom of assembly. Third, freedom of association. Fourth, freedom of movement. Fifth, freedom of residence and settlement. Sixth, freedom of residence and settlement. And sixth, freedom of profession, occupation, trade and business. And last, included freedom to acquire, hold and dispose of property, which has been abolished by the amendment 44th amendment. Okay, last freedom is abolished by the 44th amendment, which is included freedom to acquire, hold and dispose of property. Freedom of the press is included under Article 19 clause A. Okay, freedom of press is included under Article 19. Next, we are going towards Article 20. Article 20. Article 20 provides protection against arbitrary and excessive punishment to any person who commits an offense. It cannot be suspended during the period of emergency. It means Article 20 provides the protection against excessive punishment to any person. Any person should not be punished excessive according to Article 20. It cannot be suspended during the period of emergency also. Next, Article 21. Article 21. Article 21 guarantees right to life and personal liberty of an individual. It says that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Article 21 is the most important article, which has been held as a backbone of Part 3 and Part 4 of the Constitution by the Supreme Court. Part 3 and Part 4 of the Constitution by the Supreme Court. It can never be suspended and all the decisions are taken out under the consideration of Article 21. Article 21 is a bedrock from which many rights have been inferred by the Supreme Court. Next, Article 22. Article 22 provides protection against arbitrary arrest and detention, such as when police officer come to your house, then you can ask why you are captured me, why you are arrest me. This gives Article 22 provides Article 22 protection against arbitrary arrest, detention, such as informing the detainee of the cause of his arrest. We have a right to know the cause of our arrest by the police officer. And second, allowing him to consult and be defended by legal practitioner of his choice. We have a right to defend ourselves. And third, producing him before a nearest magistrate within a period of 24 hours is a time period which we have to represented in front of the magistrate in 24 hours. This is our right. This gives Article 22. Okay, we discussed Article 19, 20 and 21 and then 22. This completes right to freedom. Next, right against exploitation. Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation, there are two articles, 23 and 24. There are two articles in right against exploitation, such as Article 23. Okay, it seeks to ban traffic in human beings, beggar or any form of forced labor. This article ban traffic in human beings, beggar or any form of forced labor. Next, 24. It prohibits employment of children below the age of 14 years in any factory, any mine, any hazardous condition. This article prohibits the employment of the children below the age of 14 years. This article prohibit right against exploitation. Okay, this completes. Next and fourth fundamental right, which is right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion, it includes four rights under article. Okay, four rights under article 25, 26, 27 and 28. These four rights under article 25, 26, 27 and 28, right to freedom of religion, such as firstly we are considering the right to Article 25. Article 25 entitles everyone the freedom of conscience and the right to process, practice and propagate a religion of one's choice. It means everyone has the freedom of conscience and right to process, practice and propagate a religion of one's choice. Next, Article 26 grants right to religious denominations to establish institutions for practice or propagating their religion. This gives Article 26 establishment of their institutions and practice their and propagating their religion. Next, manage its own affairs in matters of religion. No one interfere you. manage its own affairs in matters of religion. Next, passes and dispose of their immovable property. These are things comes under Article 26. Next, we are moving towards Article 27. Article 27 provides for exempting religious institutions from paying taxes to state for religious purposes. Now, Article 28 deals with religious instruction to be imparted in educational institutions. Such as these are the points. Some points are there. First one is no religious instruction can be provided in institutions owned and administered by the state. Second, religious instruction may be imparted, but pupil may not be compelled to attend them in institutions recognized by the state and receiving aid out of the state funds. And third, religious instructions can be imparted and people can be compelled to attend them in educational institutions administered by state, established by religious endowment or religious trust. And the fifth fundamental right is cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. It includes Article 29 and 30. Cultural and educational rights. Listen to me carefully. It includes Article 29 and 30. And Article 29 says and provides for criteria for determination of minority. It provides the criteria for determination of minority. This comes under Article 29. And Article 30 provides that all minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. It means both the things 29 and 30 comes under cultural and educational rights, in which first one, Article 29, give the criteria for determination of minority, and the second one, which is Article 30, provides that all minorities shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. Next and last fundamental right is right to constitutional remedies, and it has only one article, which is 32. Article 32 under right to constitutional remedies. In the words of Dr. Ambedkar, Article 32 is fundamental of all fundamental rights. Article 32 is a fundamental of fundamental rights. This right makes it constitutionally obligatory on the part of the Supreme Court to enforce the fundamental rights. It includes 5 kinds of writ jurisdiction adopted from England, and 5 kind of writ jurisdiction is in front of your screen, in front of you on the screen. जिसमें फर्स्ट वन habeas corpus. Habeas corpus spelling HABEAS CORPUS, habeas corpus. Mandamus, MANDAMUS, mandamus. Certiorari, SERTEORARI. Prohibition, PROHIBITION. Quo warranto, QUOQO warranto, VARRANTO, warranto. These are the 5 kinds of writ jurisdiction adopted from England. Now first, habeas corpus is in the nature of an order calling upon the person who has detained under to produce the letter before the court. It means, it literally means to have a body. In addition to aggrieved person, other individual or organization can head for its enforcement. And second is mandamus, means command. It is issued to command a person or a body to do what is his or its duty to do. It is a discretionary remedy at the hands of HC High Court, and an aggrieved person can approach the court. It can be issued against public offices as well as inferior courts and judicial bodies. Next is third one, prohibition. Issued to an inferior court to keep within limits of their jurisdiction. It is a matter of within limits of their jurisdiction. It is a matter of right for which only aggrieved person can approach the court. Only aggrieved person can approach the court. It is a fourth point. But in a third point, there is a certiorari, CERTIORAN, certiorari we can also say, issues to quash order passed in excess of jurisdiction of the court. Is a issues to quash order passed in excess of jurisdiction of the court. And last one is quo warranto. This issue to inquire into legally of the claim of a public office. It asks, what is your authority? Its intention is to see that unlawful claimant does not usurp a public office. I hope you understood. These are the 5 kinds of writ jurisdiction which adopted from England, and our court work on that.